and we will go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. My name is Sarah Patterson. I'm PMA's Executive Director, and on behalf of PMA, I'm excited to see you all here today, and thank you for joining us for our PACE orientation. I'm joined today by some PACE committee members, some PACE committee leaders, past PACE participants and judges, and then, of course, all of you. I will call on our committee members and leaders and past participants and judges throughout the morning to share their feedback and commentary. And in the meantime, I'd like everyone to share their name, company, and briefly describe your PACE affiliation in the chat so that we all kind of know who's here. Are you a longtime judge? Are you a first-time participant? Introduce yourself in the chat. We will be recording today's session, and we will share the recording as well as the slide deck, which will have active links. So no need to write down URLs and copious notes, if you will, throughout the morning. Also, feel free to share any questions that you have in the chat throughout the morning. My colleagues Evelyn and Bianca are here, and they might be able to quickly answer your questions in the chat. And if not, when I take a break at a few points in the morning, I'll invite them to share any outstanding questions and also invite you to unmute. Now, today's program is intended to provide you with everything that you need to know to make the most out of PACE. But before we dig into PACE, we have some very important companies to thank. And those companies are PMA's corporate sponsors. Our 2024 Platinum sponsors include InterSolutions, Residency Bureau, and Tepfer Construction Company. Our 2024 Gold sponsors include American Pest, Brothers Paving and Concrete, Capital Canopies, Electronic Security Services, Hawkins Electric, JB Klein, Minkoff Company, Planned Companies, and Pothole Repair. And then we have our 2024 Silver sponsors. They include Berkshire, Donaldson, Finley Asphalt and Concrete, Kenmore, Orndorff and Spade, PC Richard and Son, Quest Insurance, Rain and Son, Thomasville Restoration, and TRC Engineering. So let's get to the reason why you came, PACE. PMA's Apartment Community Excellence Awards establish best practices and recognize excellence in the National Capital Region's apartment community industry. So our PACE Awards are unique for several key reasons. One of the reasons is that our judges provide extensive feedback that our participants get to see. Second, PACE is designed to build teams by improving morale and improve performance. Third, our winners can use PACE to drive prospective residents to their communities and also to retain existing residents. And last, PACE establishes benchmarks for excellence. There's only one winner per category. Now, 2024 marks the 13th annual PACE Awards competition. And this year, we're striving for more than 200 entries. Really, it would be amazing if we surpassed our pre-pandemic numbers. And as a point of reference, in 2019, before the pandemic, we had 252 communities managed by 35 different property management companies participate in the program. Now, last year, we received approximately 190 PACE entries from 28 different property management companies, and we broke those entries into 43 categories. Now, our PACE categories typically have anywhere from 3 to 6 entries each, and we take several factors into consideration while we're making our categories, and really it's an effort to make the competition as inclusive and as fair as possible. So first up, we look at categories and create them geographically. We have categories for DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Now, we're keeping the same borders, and I'll share a slide with you in just a moment, as last year, but the northern border is Columbia, Maryland. Baltimore communities can apply, but acceptance is subject to receiving enough entries in that submarket. The eastern border is Annapolis, though I already have more than 4 properties on the Eastern Shore who are interested in participating. So it looks like we're heading that way this year. The southern border is Woodbridge, Virginia, and then the western border is Frederick, Maryland. Next, we further break the entries down based on property's average rent, and that's calculated based on the information that you, the property manager, provides during the entry process. Each property also falls under one of the following four categories. We have lease up, which are communities that are less than 1 year old or that have not yet stabilized. We have senior communities, which are 55 plus communities that are at least 75% senior, and that includes affordable market rate and mixed income communities. And then we have affordable properties, and those are communities who are participating in a government-funded, insured, or otherwise sponsored program that result in rents that are below market rate for at least 75% of the units. And then we have our market rate communities, and those are the communities that are assessing the prevailing monthly cost for rental housing within the free market for at least 75% of their units. And that does include mixed income communities. And now in 2024, like we've done since 2022, we'll also be looking at the property's age when we're categorizing. And we'll be categorizing properties constructed prior to 1990 as vintage. And again, the intent here is some people take issue with the naming of vintage. The intent here is not to call a property old, but really to recognize that older assets have unique challenges, and we want to make it the competition fair and have those older assets competing against each other rather than with the latest and greatest assets. Another quick note about location, as I already mentioned, generally speaking, for communities outside of these published boundaries, we say that you can apply, but acceptance is subject to receiving enough entries in that submarket. We just want it to make sense for our judges to go out that way. So we'd like to have at least 4 or more entries beyond these boundaries if we're going to consider them. And like I said, we've already had several properties in Baltimore and Maryland's Eastern Shore express an interest in participating this year. So don't hesitate to reach out or even to submit your application. If it doesn't work out, I'll make you whole. We'll refund the application and take it from there. Now, we talked about the judging process making the PACE Awards unique. The judges who will be evaluating your community are seasoned veterans of the property management industry. All the judges participate in a mandatory training session with the PMA staff and leadership to ensure that all scoring is done consistently. Every community will be assessed by 2 judges in 2024. And PMA is really always striving to improve the PACE Awards. In 2021, we unveiled a revised score sheet intended to make the criteria as clear as possible and the evaluations as objective as possible. And like I said, we will include a link to the score sheet in the follow-up materials here, and you'll also receive a link to the score sheet with your entry confirmation. And again, just a key point here that I'd like to add, if during the evaluation process your community encounters any issues with one of our judges, please contact us immediately so that we can look into the matter. Nothing breaks my heart more than hearing from a community after the award ceremony about an issue that they encountered with the judge. And that can be anything. Maybe it's a conflict of interest that we didn't catch. Just maybe you have concerns about the judge. Reach out and let us know and we can talk about it. And speaking of judges, we are still actively recruiting judges. Our PACE judges should possess a minimum of 10 years experience in the multifamily industry. The ideal candidates are either presently in or recently have served in an executive role within a property management company. The PACE judges, like I said, are required to participate in a training session, and PACE judging can really be as big or as small as a commitment as the judge would like. They share their availability when they're submitting their entry form for judging, and we'll work with the judges to work within their schedule so that they can make the most of the experience. I included on here all the details, and like I said, I'll be sharing this deck with you afterward. So if you or someone you know is a good fit for judging, please do let us know. And of course, we take into mind your company affiliations when we're doing scheduling. So we wouldn't schedule you in a category in which you or any of your company's properties are participating. So let's talk about the entry program timeline. Oh, look at that. I spelled timeline incorrectly. Our early rate ends March 17th. So register now to get the best rate to participate in the PACE Awards. And then following that, we'll have our regular rate in effect, and that ends April 14th. And then we will be accepting PACE entries at the late rate through May 15th. we are not planning to offer an extension this year. We really need part one, and we'll talk about the parts of your entries in a little bit here, but we really need part one of your entry completed to begin categorizing and assigning judges. Not to get too into the details, but we really have a number of factors that we take into consideration when we're assigning judges. We look at their preferences, availabilities, their strengths, their work history, and tons of other factors. We also try to limit the number of judges across a single category. So the sooner that we have your completed entry, the sooner we can get you plugged into the correct category, and the sooner we can assign a judge and get you on the calendar. Makes everything easier for everyone. So again, I encourage you to get your entries in. You have plenty of time before May 15th. And then there's a second part to the application process, and that is submitting your supplemental materials. And that's not due until May 31st. And then the evaluations will take place starting June 9th, and they will run through the end of September. And we'll talk more specifically about the parameters around the evaluation timeline in just a moment. And then it all culminates with our 2023 awards ceremony. And that is taking place on Thursday, November 7th. This will be our fourth annual awards ceremony, and we are so excited. We'll be at the MGM Hotel and Casino in the National Harbor. Now, the award ceremony has sold out in the last 2 years, so I encourage you to register early. Registration is open now to ensure that you and your team have a seat. Also, keep in mind, we'll be announcing the results of several award programs at the ceremony. So we're really encouraging site teams to plan now. Plan to close your office for a professional development day or a team building day on November 7th so that nobody has to miss out on the fun and celebration. Now, when it comes to scheduling PACE evaluations, like I said, evaluations will take place June 9th through September. Evaluations take place Tuesday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And evaluations won't take place on Mondays, weekends, or during the first 7 days of the month or on federal holidays. Again, this year, like it's always been, PACE judges conduct surprise visits. So that's why it's really important that you provide the dates that you will not be available for evaluation when you're submitting your entry form. We encourage you to take any like company retreats, trainings, vacations, take all of that into account when you're providing that information on your entry form. The team at PMA will reach out to you the week prior to your evaluation. We'll let you know that the judges are coming the following week, but we won't reveal the exact date. Rescheduling is not allowed. We strongly encourage PACE participants to include the entire team in preparation. So don't just enter PACE and then not tell a soul. We want you to prepare the assistant manager, the regional manager, the maintenance team, the leasing team. Really, the entire team should be prepared to showcase your community to the judges. Now, here's a sample timeline for a judge's visit. Like I said, the week before your judge's arrival, your community will receive a courtesy email and text. Those communications will be sent to the property manager's email and cell phone that was provided during the application process. And a judge can show up at any time, Tuesday through Friday, the following week. Again, you can't ask the judge to come a different time. Otherwise, you forfeit your opportunity to be judged and consequently to win an award. A judge will also call your property phone number, again, the phone number that you provide when you submit your application form, 30 minutes prior to their arrival at your community. Once you're at their property, the judges typically do a quick tour of the premise by themselves. And then after they tour your community by themselves, they'll enter the management offices. The judges are really expecting your community's representative to provide a tour and to review all of the criteria. And again, I can't encourage you enough to review the score sheet and be prepared to do a presentation through the score sheet to help the judges identify the criteria that they're looking for. We really also encourage you to be creative about the manner in which you showcase your community. You can develop a slide deck, you can put your materials in a binder, like I know some of you longtime participants are used to doing, but we really want you to take advantage of the opportunity to showcase your property, your events, your marketing initiatives, and more. In that process, you should be as specific as possible and provide detailed information and examples. And I'm going to say this probably 27 times today, but again, make sure your whole property is prepared, the people and the property. After the tour, the judges will return to the management office. They might take a picture of the staff and then head out to the next property. After each visit, our judges compose a detailed report for each community that includes your strengths and opportunities for improvement, and you'll see that evaluation in the fall. And like I said, I can't say it enough, preparing for and participating in the PACE judges visit really provides an opportunity for your entire team to shine. The evaluation begins the minute that the judges drive onto your property, and really everything makes an impression, from the greeting they receive from the groundsperson, maybe to the way that the concierge welcomes them into the office. How your team works together and your overall professionalism can go a long way in setting your community apart from the competition. Now, before I get into the specifics of the evaluation areas and the scoring scale, I'd like to invite my friends from PMA to chime in. Are there any past participants or judges that have feedback or suggestions to add to all that I've shared so far?
I want to share with everybody that the binder that Sarah touched on is very helpful for the judges. They're seeing so many properties, and one way not only to help them with their time, but to make you stand out is to have everything ready to go and make sure you're showcasing all of your property strengths in that binder, as well as the information that they need.
Awesome, great point. Kim, were you going to say something?
Yeah, just to tag on that, with the binder, that should not be something that you just hand the judges and say, here you go, look through it. It's a guide for the property team to use as a resource for you. And then you're pointing out the important things for the judges. So you want to make sure that not only does the person who put the binder together know what's in there and where things are, but the whole team does, and that you're using that as a resource, not just handing it to a judge to look through themselves.
That's a great point as well. Any additional comments, questions, or feedback at this point? All right, let's talk evaluation areas. Let me get my deck back up so I can see it. Okay, so our judges are there evaluating properties in 7 areas. They include exterior curb appeal, interior first impression, management and property operations, common area amenities, the maintenance shop, building interior and common areas, and then the model vacant or occupied apartment. The PACE committee has worked hard through the years to make the evaluation form as objective and as specific as possible. And like I said before, the score sheet will be available to you in advance so you can know what to expect and prepare yourself and your team accordingly. Now, the judges work from a 0 to 5-point scale where applicable. So each community score will start at a baseline of 3, and scoring goes up or down from there. We ask our judges to provide a detailed comment in the event that a community doesn't meet the baseline. The comment will detail why the baseline wasn't met and provide recommendations for improvement. Also, we ask judges to provide a comment if your property exceeds the baseline. And again, that comment will detail why you were knocking it out of the park in that category. Now, there's some questions that aren't on a 5-point scale, but rather they're yes or no questions. So in those cases, a yes equals 3 and a no equals 0 points. And now don't worry, in the event that something isn't applicable to your community, you're not penalized. So for example, if you don't have a pool, you're not penalized for not having a pool license. Rather, the judge will select NA, not applicable, and that will make both the possible points and the points earned 0 for your community. Now, you can receive up to 5 points for superior service, individual honors, and things of that nature. So, in the past year, I think I shared this example last year. We had somebody give bonus points, and they said each member of the team presented as if they were the owner of the community. And, they commented that this team was brilliant and skilled, and they were awarded 5 bonus points for that. You can also lose points for abject failures with the property or staff. So, for example, in the past, we had a community lose points because the manager went to lunch for 2.5 hours and had no plan for their employees to tour the community, and they lost points for that. So those points are added or subtracted at the judge's discretion, and those points are or deduction, the bonus point addition or deductions are made to the final score. So you heard me mention our 0 to 5 point scale. Again, we consider 3 the baseline. It's really important to note that if your community is meeting the baseline expectations for the 2024 competition, your community score will be approximately 73%. So a score of 73 means that you're not doing anything wrong, but you're not exceeding expectations. And then for your reference, with maximum bonus points, the highest score you can earn is 105. When all the community judging is complete, the forms are tallied and the winners in each category are determined based on the percentage of the total points earned versus the total points possible. And there's only one winner per category. For those of you who are overachievers who want to be the best of the best, you should aim for best in show. It's the highest honor and the most prestigious honor in PACE. The community with the highest total points will get special recognition at our November awards ceremony, special media attention from PMA. For those of you who were at the November ceremony, you might recall our 2023 Best in Show winner was the Elms at Signal Hill, managed by Legend Management. And now, even though there can only be one winner in each category, your property has the opportunity to still be recognized for its excellence in other ways. So properties can be a distinguished award winner or win a Judge's Choice Award. Distinguished award winners are communities that receive a score of at least 90% or higher in their category, but that are not the overall winner in their category. And a Judge's Choice Award is granted to communities that exhibit extraordinary qualities that impress a judge, but again, we're not the overall winner in their category. And judges can only award one Judge's Choice Award each. So some reasons why communities would receive a Judge's Choice Award might be because of like a certain technology initiative, a green or eco-friendly environmental initiative, a unique resident program, maybe overcoming unique challenges, maybe community renovations or something of that nature. Our hope is really that your team finds tremendous value in participating in PACE. It's more than an awards competition. It's a team building exercise. It helps ensure that your property is in the best possible shape. And of course that you're getting the benefit of 2 detailed inspections from a third party. So winning PACE is really just the icing on the cake. If your community wins, you're awarded and honored at the award ceremony. Also, like we did last year and the year before, we'll be presenting all of PMA's awards at a single event, and we'll talk more about those awards in just a little bit. We also provide what we call an easy button for promoting your community. We create a customized marketing kit that includes content that you can add to your website, social media sites, and print advertisements. We'll give you a winner's logo and things of that nature. And of course, PACE winners are showcased in our bulletin, our social media sites, and on the PMA website. So again, we want to make sure that you have the tools that you need to prepare for PACE. We want you to know exactly what the judges are looking for, and that's why we provide the PACE score sheet to all of our PACE participants. It's also on our website. It'll be in your confirmation email when you submit your initial entry. We strongly encourage you to review the score sheet in advance of your judge's visit. You should be very familiar with the criteria, even those that might not be applicable to you, so that you can inform the judges accordingly. Maybe there's an issue on site that you can explain to the judges, or maybe there's data that you can showcase in a particular category. Those should all be things that you're very well prepared to speak to when the judges arrive. And again, PACE is a team sport. We encourage the property managers to involve the whole team in the process from entry to ceremony. So share the score sheet with your team, work together to prepare. Really, you can assign your team members with certain aspects of the tour during the judge's visit. Believe it or not, there's times when our judges show up on site to evaluate a community and nobody's familiar with the program. Don't let this happen to you. We understand that there's changes. Maybe your property manager entered the competition, but then was transferred to a different site. maybe the property manager had a family emergency on the day of the judge's surprise visit. We understand that staff changes happen, emergencies pop up, but really your team needs to be informed and prepared to carry on. So this year, again, we're hosting a post-entry webinar, what to expect when you're participating in the PACE Awards, and that'll be on May 21st. Your whole team should attend. Before we head into the logistics of submitting your entry, again, I'd like to invite our friends of PMA to chime in if there's anything that they have to add.
I will add, I'm on the committee and I've been on the committee several years on and off for quite a while. And making sure what Sarah just said about passing on any kind of change in your email or who's in charge in terms of following up. Sometimes we just have a complete different email. That person's been gone for many, many months. So if you move on to a different property, I'm just encouraging you to please, please, please pass on the information to the next person and to us as well, so we know who to communicate with when the time comes.
Awesome, great point. Any questions at this point or anything else that anybody would like to add? All right, let's dig into the entry process. All right, so in December of 2021, so years ago now, PMA launched a new website and we introduced an entirely new entry process. So the process is the same as it was, the same as it has been since 2022. So if you participated last year, you should be good to go. But as a reminder, the PACE entry form is intended to be submitted by the property manager. We can make exceptions to this. I know sometimes marketing departments like to submit all of their properties, entries, and things of that nature. We really want the manager to be the one submitting the entry so that they are then the primary point person for all logistics related to scheduling and whatnot moving forward. So to enter the PACE Awards, the property manager needs an active member account. And if you walk away from this having learned nothing else, know that if you have trouble with any part of this, my colleague Evelyn is here to help you. She'll share her email address in the chat. You can also reach her at info@pma-dc.org. So if you hit any roadblocks along the way, please do not hesitate to reach out to Evelyn in the office. So to create your active account, you'll visit our website, pma-dc.org, and enter your email address and follow the prompts. Again, this is if you have not created your active account yet. So next you'll select create an account. You'll be prompted to create login information. Now, as you do this, if you exist in our database already, you'll see a message pop up and it'll ask if it's you. So I included a link of a screenshot here that shows, it says, is this you? Like it sees something that looks like me. If the person who pops up is you, but you have a new email address, a new company, a new property, email Evelyn and she'll help you update your account. Now, if the person that pops up is not you, keep going. Ultimately, you'll create your password and you'll agree to our terms and conditions and then continue on. The next page is where you'll enter your key information. So again, I'm not expecting you to be an expert in our database, but it's important to understand the structure a little bit. So it's important to remember that your company, for you property managers who work on site at a property, your company is your property. And your property is a sub company of your property management company. So it's like a family tree. Like you have your property management company, property, you. If you have a different setup, like perhaps you're at multiple properties or something like that, Evelyn's going to be your go-to to help you work through the process. But if it's a straightforward, you're on site, you're a manager, it's your property is your company and your property is a sub company of your property management company. Hopefully that makes sense. I can't see your faces, so I'm hoping it's good. When you begin typing in the company field, you'll see a list of companies and properties begin to populate. So, check that list out. And if your property doesn't appear on there, guess who you need to reach out to? Evelyn, and she'll help you create the property in the database. Once you create your account, you'll be in Member Compass, and this is where you will maintain your contact information moving forward. You'll also see your association participation. This is where you'll see your PACE invoice after you enter. If you don't pay when you enter, you'll see your PACE invoice here. And if you ever need to change your name, your company name, just reach out to Evelyn and she'll help you keep your Member Compass profile up to date. So once you've got your member profile set up, it's time to enter. And the initial entry process should be fairly quick and easy, but there is some information that you'll need. So much of the basic information should autofill from our database. So you did that hard work when you created your member profile, and that includes your company name, your property information. Just a quick note here, when it comes to property phone number, even if it's auto-populating, make sure it's correct. That is the number we'll call the day of the evaluation when the judges are 30 minutes out. And then you'll add some specific information about your property. You will select what property type you have, whether you're a lease up, senior, affordable, or market rate community. And you will also enter the year the property is constructed. So again, take your time, double check your answers, make sure you've got it all right before you move on to the next part of the application. We're also calculating the average rent based on the information that you provide. So when you come to the entry form, you should come prepared to let us know the quantity of each type of unit that you have and the current rental rate. And then the system will automatically calculate what your average rental rate is. You will provide your contact information, and 2 important notes highlighted on the screen here. Again, we're emailing the property manager the week before the surprise visit, and we are also texting the property manager the week before the surprise visit. So those communications are only good if we have accurate information. So again, take the time to confirm that that information is correct. Also, take the time to make sure that you have PMA-DC .org as a safe sender in your systems. We've been having a tremendous amount of email issues in the office. Microsoft Defender is on the hunt and keeping us safe, I suppose, but also keeping some emails from getting through. So make sure that you have our domain as a safe sender. Make sure you're checking your spam, your clutter, all that good stuff. Mentioning email issues also reminds me, for those of you who participated in PACE last year, if you didn't receive the email with the information to access your scores or your winners kit, you can reach out to Evelyn for that information. And for your scores, you're really just going to log into the PACE portal. So all of this information, that URL you see on your screen right now, if you log in there, that's where you'll see your scores from previous years. When it comes to your initial PACE entry, your scheduling information, you're going to share the dates you are unavailable for a surprise visit. So we talked about this already. Include any retreats, trainings, vacations, days on which you have back-to-back meetings, budget preparation, all that good stuff. When you're sharing your availability, just keep in mind that the evaluations will take place June 9th through September 27th. They only take place Tuesday through Friday, so no need to tell us, when you're available on Mondays or the weekends, or federal holidays. They're not taking place on federal holidays as well. And then you'll also share your property office hours so we can plan accordingly with the judges visiting. Then you'll share some final property details. So you'll briefly describe the property's unique features and renovation. And really, you don't have to worry about drafting the great American novel about your property. This is just a high-level overview of your property and why you think you should win a PACE award. And then you'll upload 4 high-resolution photos of your property. Keep in mind, these photos are used at our PACE Award ceremony, in our promotion, social media. So they should be good. They should be photos that really highlight your property and all that you have to offer. So you finished step 1. So now it's time to move on to step 2. So we've talked a lot about the binders. A lot of you who have participated in years remember that we used to require a binder, and in the binder had to be every single thing. A binder is certainly a great tool to compile all of your information to share with the judges when they're visiting, but it's not a requirement anymore. Since moving to our new platform, we do things a little bit differently. So on the screen now, you'll see several items that are required, if applicable, for your evaluation. You can upload these materials into our platform, or you can present them to the judges on site during their visit. The choice is really yours. In some cases, the judges are simply confirming that a particular item exists. So that might be something like a pool license or a fire inspection report, but we believe those are probably best suited to upload into the platform. In other cases, the judges are evaluating the quality and the outcomes of something. So, for example, a marketing outreach plan, something like that might be best to present with a verbal presentation that includes backup documentation on site. This is where it's important to familiarize yourself with the evaluation form. Again, you and your team should be prepared to speak to every criteria and explain if, how, and why you exceed the baseline. For example, don't just provide a list of upcoming events. Share attendance, share engagement numbers, share feedback and outcomes, share photos. Whether you choose to upload or present, there's one more step that you need to complete your entry. And so after you submit your initial part, after you do that, you'll need to log back into the PACE portal, and this needs to be done by May 31st. And when you log back into the platform, you'll see this message there in the red box and the orange highlight. It says some of your applications require additional information, and you'll click that link to continue. Next, you'll click open. And then you must select yes or no. So you're telling us here, like, yes, I'm going to upload materials, or no, I'm not going to upload materials. If it's no, it's super easy. You click no and you scroll down to the bottom and you save and you're done. If it's yes, then you will have the opportunity to upload your files here. There's no limitations on the size or quantity of files that you upload, so you'll upload for whichever ones you want to. Again, you can do some, none, all, the choice is yours. Then you'll click on Save and Finalize. Then you click OK, and you're done. So just remember, even if you plan to present all of your materials in person at your evaluation, you must complete this second step by May 31st. One more final note about materials. On the day that your community is being assessed, you need a fair housing poster to ensure your success. So the poster must be visibly located in your leasing or management office. Communities who do not show this will be automatically disqualified. So as a reminder, the PACE program timeline appears on your screen at this time. Again, entries are due May 15th. That gives you plenty of time to gather your materials and submit prior to the deadline. And like I said, at this time, we do not plan to extend the deadline for part 1 of the entry process. We need to get all those entries in so that we can categorize and schedule. And remember to save the date for our awards ceremony. And like I said, we encourage anyone participating in any of our awards programs to plan to close the office for the day, for a day of team building and professional development. At the award ceremony, PACE is just one of the programs that we announce the winners of. PMA's Maintenance Professional Awards are announced at this award ceremony, and our Maintenance Professional Awards program celebrates really like the backbone of property management and recognizes the service and maintenance team members who stand out in service, efficiency, and productivity. Our Maintenance Professional Award entries are due May 15th, just like PACE. At the award ceremony, we'll also do our Leasing Professional Awards. PMA's Leasing Professional Awards program recognizes the art of selling and the pivotal role that leasing professionals play in our communities. And the Leasing Professional Award entry form is due May 15th. Sound familiar? We also do our Marketing, Advertising, and Excellence Awards program at the awards ceremony. And that program celebrates creativity and effectiveness in marketing and communication for PMA members of all types. That entry form is not available yet. It'll be available later this spring, and entries are due by the end of August. It seems like our MAE awards are often overlooked by our PACE participants. The MAE awards are not just for the property management company marketing department. Site team members really would probably find a lot of categories that are applicable to them. They're all listed on the screen right now, and there's more detail about, each of these categories on the URL, the web page listed here. But some that might be of interest to you are like social media. So like the posts and campaigns that you and your site teams are doing, those are eligible for MAE awards. Resident communication, yeah, like even your event flyers, your lease renewal communications, your reputation management campaigns, promotional items. That includes like your resident move-in items, signage throughout your community can be recognized, your model apartments, whether virtually staged or real, your leasing center, and then events. We look to recognize resident events, charitable events, as well as corporate events. So keep the MAE awards in mind. The entry fee is quite low. The entry process is fairly easy. And it's a great way to give your site team some recognition for all the hard work that they're doing for their communication and marketing. And then last but not least, we have our EPIC Awards. From groundbreaking advancements to visionary strategies, community service, our EPIC Awards celebrate those who not only excel within the multifamily industry, but beyond the industry. The EPIC Award nominations are open now, and those will be accepted through August 30th. I've provided a ton of information, but before I open it up to closing questions and remarks, I just want to make sure that you have a few PMA upcoming events on your radar. On Thursday, March 21st, we will be coming together for an in-person educational opportunity called Crafting Your Professional Identity. It should be a great day. There's a few options. You can register for a morning session, an afternoon session, or the entire day, and learn how to really elevate yourself when it comes to professional networking. Then on Wednesday, April 24th, we'll be coming together in person for our Leasing and Maintenance Summit. That'll be at Martin's Crosswinds in Greenbelt, Maryland. We have great leasing programming as well as training for our maintenance professionals, which will include HVAC repair and appliance repair. So a great day planned for site team members. And then on Monday, May 20th, we'll come together for our summer escape, golf outing, and wine and beer tasting social. We will have our lobster bake, the theme of which is Lobster High, class of 2024. That'll take place on Thursday, August 15th at Smoky Glen Farm in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And we've talked a lot about our award ceremony that's happening Thursday, November 7th at MGM Hotel and Casino in Oxon Hill, Maryland. And stay tuned. We will be adding our expo to the calendar, as well as a Halloween happy hour and a holiday happy hour. And of course, we have virtual events as well. Our upcoming webinars, and our webinars are free for PMA members. So they include Balancing Act, where we'll be talking about mastering work-life harmony in property management. We have a webinar about enhancing safety in the workplace, which will provide strategies for active threat preparedness. That'll take place on Thursday, June 20th. We're doing a panel discussion called Property Management Professionalism from Fundamentals to Excellence. That'll be facilitated by Karen Truman. It'll take place on Thursday, September 12th, and we'll talk about how to elevate yourself in your career, your properties, and your companies. And then the last one that we have on the calendar already is called Calm and Connected, the Art of Finding Zen when Handling the Upset Customer. And that'll take place on Thursday, October 17th. We do have a webinar every month. We're just working on getting the final webinars scheduled, and those will be added to the website shortly. So with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen and invite folks to chime in. For the Friends of PMA, is there anything that I missed? For those of you who are thinking of participating in PACE, do you have any questions? Who's got things to say?
I think you covered everything very well. The only thing I'd like to add to the managers that are maybe even first time there's no need to be nervous. I mean, I've noticed a lot of properties you go to, especially the first times, they're so nervous when the judges arrive at the property. It's just a time to relax and showcase your property. So there's no need to be nervous when we come in.
That's great feedback. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
This is Jennifer Rush. I do have a question. If we had communities that participated last year, how could we get a copy of the scorecard from last year?
You can log into the PACE portal, the person who submitted the entry, so the property management manager from that community, which I understand might be different, can log into the portal to download the score sheets from last year. And if you need any help with that, you can email Evelyn in the office and she can help you out with that.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Our judges love to see that you take their feedback into consideration. Like, oh, hey, last year you were here and you suggested my flyers shouldn't be taped up. Like, look at these great new acrylic signs I bought. Like, thanks for the feedback. You know, those little things go a long way. All right, gang. Any other questions? All right, well, with that, then I'm going to set you on your way for the rest of your day. One other thing that came to mind as I was chatting here is that we're always looking for new volunteers. We're not just recruiting judges, but we're, you know, soliciting new committee volunteers. So if you're passionate about PACE or you're passionate about anything that we do, you could be passionate about lobster or golf or networking. We're always seeking new volunteers. If you're interested in volunteer opportunities, you can visit our website, or of course, you can reach out to Evelyn. Evelyn is the star of the day. She can help you find committees and sign up for committees that might be beneficial for you. And with that, I will send you on your way. Thanks so much for attending today. We are so excited for 2024 PACE. We're going to reach and exceed our goal of 200 plus entries and have a fantastic celebration at MGM in November. And I look forward to working with you all along the way. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.